Metroid Prime 4 is a litmus test. Sure, why not?
Hey fam. So, I just finished Metroid Prime.
Do you say hey fam?
Hey fam. So, I just finished Metroid Prime 4, and there's a lot I want to talk about, but honestly, something I found more interesting than the game itself was the overall fan response to it, because this has been a bumpy ride. If you're both familiar with the channel and into Metroid, there's a better than not chance that you've already seen my Other M hot take video, and although this one will not be nearly as inflammatory in tone, it will be something of a follow-up to it in certain respects. You don't necessarily have to watch that video first in order to appreciate this one, but it may give you more context into my personal mindset and philosophies when it comes to Metroid if you do so. So I'll link it in the description and at the end of the video as well. Anyway, as I just stated, what I really found so interesting about Beyond was the general fan reception to it, both in the lead up to its release and following its release now that it's finally in our hands. While I personally enjoyed it very, very much overall, I acknowledge that—
Of course you did, because you have shit taste and you're an embarrassment to the human race. Alright, anyway. Haha, joking, huh?
It has many faults, and I can understand a considerable portion of the fan ire. It's unfortunate that Prime 4 didn't end up panning out into the critically triumphant grand return that Dread was for 2D Metroid, but as is frequently the case with these more nakedly linear Metroid titles, I definitely feel as though the most extreme negative reactions are severely overblown, and I do think there is a certain type of Metroid fan that will still get a lot out of it, speaking as one of those fans.
You're not a fan, you're a tourist. You should love yourself.
To start with, though, let me lay out many of the critiques, so I can talk about why they really just don't bother me all that much. This is a pretty different situation from the Other M fan reaction fiasco in some areas, but it's also strikingly similar in others. As soon as the Viola bike was revealed, a certain subset of Metroid fans began overreacting to high hell online.
It's not an overreaction, it's fucking stupid. The giant empty desert sucks. There's only 10 locations in that map. 10? 10. It's a giant fucking glorified loading screen, but it's not a loading screen because you have to watch loading screens.
And that fire was only further kindled by the reveal of the now infamous Miles McKenzie. Once upon a time, this severe overreaction would have shocked me, but in the aftermath of my Other M video, it became clear to me that the Metroid franchise lives and dies under the gaze of a particularly strict form of fan scrutiny.
Or people don't like millennial writing gay shit. Whoa, crazy. I solved it somehow. It's almost like part of the franchise identity is being isolated on a hostile alien world, and everyone fucking knows this. Everyone. But you claim you're a fan, somehow.
Going forward, I'm going to refer to the individuals who harbor these especially restrictive views of what Metroid is and should always be as Metroid purists, and I will refer to those who share—
No, they're called Metroid fans. What you are is not a fan. Whatever you are— Again, tourist. We're fans, you're tourist.
my own mindset as flexible fans. I'm not
Tourists.
here today to discredit Metroid purists because I can actually understand where they're coming from, and I'll go into that with a comparison of my own shortly, but I do want to articulate why a flexible fan like myself is able to enjoy a product like Beyond.
Because you're a consumer, a worthless consumer attendee, and you have no standards.
Even despite its lack of adherence to the absolute letter of the law laid down by the structure of the franchise's earlier entries. In order to do this, however, I need to refer back to a few of the points I made in the aforementioned Other M video. So, it seems to me that to Metroid purists, a Metroid game must contain all of the following: pure, unsegregated Metroidvania-style map design, item and
That would be ideal, sure, yeah.
exploration-based progression, and an atmospheric sense of isolation.
Yep.
Notice how I didn't even list Samus, and we're gonna come back to that. Now go—
Yeah, I mean, hypothetically, it would be weird, but you could absolutely make a Metroid game without Samus, as long as it was Metroid, right? Yeah, that's fine.
Going by the above list of, shall we say, asset demands, it's easy to identify why every previous series Black Sheep attained their Black Sheep statuses. Metroid Prime 3 and Other M in particular come to mind as far as mainline or mainline adjacent entries are concerned. Other M was originally lambasted for, among other things, its rigid linearity and strong presence of other characters and dialogue, which were cited to interfere with the game's...
That's what's crazy. Like, imagine knowing the extreme backlash to Other M, and then you still make Prime 4. The only thing it's missing is Samus bitching about random bullshit.
Atmosphere and isolation. Prime 3, while at least better received overall than Other M, was also criticized for its overly simplified map design and isolated zones that the player is forced to travel between by ship, rather than having them interconnected for transit by foot, as in all traditional Metroidvanias and previous Metroid games. It's worth noting that Metroid Fusion also received backlash early into its life cycle, but for various extenuating reasons which are outside the scope of this video, the fan opinion on that entry seems to have softened considerably over time. What I find so interesting about all of this, however, is the fact that to Metroid purists, all of these elements, without exception, must be present. It is an all-or-nothing game, and for many of...
I mean, yes, that is what makes the series what it is. Why the fuck? Just play a different Metroidvania. Do you know how many other fucking Metroidvania games there are? Just play one that isn't Metroid. Why the fuck would you want to ruin Metroid? Because you're a fucking tourist piece of shit that wants to corrupt and destroy every hobby you enter because you're a soulless golem scumbag. Fuck you. You don't deserve to be included. You shouldn't be included in anything. You should be included in the trash can, in the dumpster, in the trash compactor. Your fucking bones in the dust. That's what should happen. In Minecraft, of course. Alright, I don't want to keep watching this. This is like... Your opinion sucks. You're worthless.
Your life is nothing. You serve zero purpose.
Alright. I don't know who this is. I'm not bullying a small creator. That was my independent opinion. None of you should do anything about it. Anyway, moving on. Should I read the comments? I don't know, I guess. Why the fuck is this? Oh, fuck that. Well, I do generally agree with there are so many other Metroidvanias to choose from point. It's not as if there are that many games similar to Metroid Prime series on the market. Yeah, how many Metroidvanias are first-person shooters? Oh yeah, none of them. So I'm not sure if it's necessarily a good argument when defending Prime 4 specifically, because there are nowhere near as many quality 3D Metroidvanias compared to 2D Metroidvanias, as far as I can tell, yes. And what, I mean, in terms of shooters, I don't know FPS Metroidvanias other than Prime. I mean, maybe they exist, I just don't know. They're clearly not nearly as popular. He might have just deleted comments. Let's see, hot takes. My hot take is that the Samus in Prime 4 is my least favorite depiction of Samus in the entire franchise, and I say that as someone who hates Other M. The fact that Samus never responds to any of the questions that the characters have with their voice, with simple questions such as, where are we, going unanswered, it paints Samus as a sociopath, or an extreme autistic person. That was the joke I made. When you're in the mines and Armstrong is having panic attacks, Samus just stands there and stares at her, not offering a word of comfort or even so much as a hand on the shoulder. At this point, I wish Metroid wasn't stuck with Nintendo. I wish Metroid could be handed off. No, you don't. 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 What company? What company? Hand it off to an entirely different company with no strings attached. Oh, name a dev. Name a dev. All of the big devs are shit now. There's... Who the fuck are you gonna hand Metroid over to? No, you just need to hire talented people. There's not... I kind of wanted to see this vid, actually. I'm glad I just saw them. I recommended. I wanted to play, Routine, but it's 12:40 already, so that's not happening. I guess it's just a long video watch segment. Because Nintendo clearly has no idea what to do with this franchise. That's not the problem. Retro Studios is an American company full of rainbow-haired bug people. They literally hired a person, a non-binary, who wanted to make Samus a tranny to write the story, which of course no one in any of the reviews talks about. For some reason. Because, you know, there's no bad cooks in the kitchen, dude. There's no such thing as a bad cook. They don't exist. Every chef is a master. That's why I think Mercury's Steam, being its own independent company, works so well with Dread. I feel like people who really want to make a Metroid game got the opportunity, as opposed to modern retro studios who are forced to do it whether they want to or not. I kind of agree with this point, but at the same time, I feel like this is more of a... I mean, this is an exception to the rule, put it at that. If they could hypothetically find a development team that was, you know, talented, with passionate people, then yes, I could see this working, but the fact of the matter is, something like Prime 4 is going to take a much larger development team than Metroid Dread. So, it's not entirely comparable, but yeah, Mercury, I forgot, yeah, Mercury's Steam made Dread, and that was good. Of course, Samus is a matter-of-fact presumption. You think Federation Force is beloved or something. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think hypothetically you could make a Metroid game without Samus, but that would definitely require a real vision with a compelling alternative character. I mean, it probably shouldn't be done, because again, yeah, I'm sure Federation Force is shit, but I don't know. I'm assuming he deleted super negative comments, because you'd think we would find one given this like-dislike ratio. I'm sure if I sort by new, chat will have commented on this by now. I'm gonna click off this video now. Sigh. Let's see what he said.
Beyond was just a little more on the nose about it by adding in an analog to Hyrule Field and Epona. I also didn't...
What?
...that I think Prime 4 absolutely has in spades. Metroid Prime have shared DNA and ancestry from the very beginning. You acquire new items by exploring, and these items open up more of the map for you to explore. And again, this adds to that sense of moment-to-moment, micro-level Metroid gameplay authenticity that I think Prime 4 absolutely has in spades. Metroid Prime was never an exception to this sci-fi Zelda analogy. Beyond was just a little more on the nose about it by adding in an analog to Hyrule Field and Epona. I also didn't find the...
Okay, but the thing is, as someone who played the game and noticed things using his brain, the amount of times that I came across an upgrade that I couldn't get, even on a return trip through the dungeon, was a fuck ton of times. Part of, like, the Metroid appeal is, oh wow, I just got, you know, the fucking space jump boots, or I just got the grapple beam, or whatever. I remember seeing this over there. I wonder what upgrade I could get. The fact that these are fucking dungeons, linear-ass dungeons, I'll have to walk all the way through them just to grab one thing and nothing else important, because all the story objectives are laid out for you, so there's no exploration. You're told exactly where to go all the fucking time. You're just going there to what? Grab 5 missiles? I'm gonna go out of my way, waste 10 fucking minutes to grab one upgrade. Why? No, the game is obviously incentivizing you to play all the way through the story and then go back to all the dungeons. There is no exploration. The game has no real exploration. I mean, the fucking scan bots tell you where all the secrets are. So this is stupid. I mean, also, stop pretending Hyrule Field is inherently good. Like, Ocarina of Time was very impressive when it came out. Obviously, mind-blowing. But, like, if we're talking from a game design perspective, it is pretty fucking empty. Like, it's not that big. It's not insanely big, like modern open worlds are. But it's not like Hyrule Field couldn't be improved upon. Metroid Prime 4's giant empty desert is way worse, because it's way bigger. And about as empty as Hyrule Field and Ocarina of Time. So... I guess chat didn't comment yet. Usually there's at least 1 or 2 people who comment. I think he just deleted negative comments, because I wasn't really seeing them. Passed over my recent... What would you say? Apparently Metroid fans want a Metroid game to play like a Metroid game. This is fascinating concept to my infantile mind. Thrilling duck. Okay, well, I mean, sorry, I don't recognize you in chat, so... But I'll give you a like. There you go. Someone wanted me to refresh these comments. There's some of you guys saying it. Alright, I'm getting a lot of the same counter arguments over and over, so let me address this up front so I can refer everyone back to this as needed. A lot of purists are taking offense. Their label, apparently, it's just a label, guys. What? It's just a label, guys? Yeah, me calling you a is just a label. I bet you're offended. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not offended by purist as a term. I'm just like, what do you mean it's just a label? What do you mean it's just a label? And when has that ever worked? Anyway. I wasn't using the term derogatorily. It was just a word to make this phenomenon easier to talk about. Yeah, okay, well, that's why my framework was more accurate than yours. The reality is, it's fan versus tourist, but you don't want to accept that you're a tourist, so you say you're a flexible fan. That's called a tourist. Anyway. Let's see. In my head, a franchise purist is someone who only enjoys entries that are some of a very specific set of parts. So a fan... and essentially rejects it wholesale when any of those parts are moved or replaced. Yeah, because that's what being a fan is. First of all, that's a neutral observation. Okay, I'm not reading this Reddit. This is a Reddit TLDR for me. TLDR. Anyway. One server to an egg. Yep, very funny. Prime 4 slops. Soul Valley's Temple Grounds from Prime 2, game only lacks tunnels, elevators between the zones, which would have really helped due to switch load times and our speed runs. Troopers are fine. The troopers were fine. The troopers were fine. You're not fine. I would be, you know what? I'd be fine if you stopped breathing. If you stopped eating, drinking water, if you stopped being as a living human being, that would be fine, I think. Yeah. Oh, in Minecraft, in Roblox, in Fortnite. Reluctant reader, thanks to the 20 Australian. So many copes going around the development of Prime 4, claiming that all the bad parts of the game were the fault of leftovers from Bandai. Oh, yeah, that is mega ultra cope. Holy shit. I went into the writers, spread the fucking word on these fucking bitches. The bitch who worked on goddamn Genlock and the who wanted to make Samus a tranny. That's why the game is shit. Fucking, especially get that fucking his name everywhere. I forgot her name already. But, you know, it's in the video. I'm bad at remembering names. But spread her fucking name around. Every time people try and claim it's anything else. Is that fucking bitch. Chudler, thanks to the 2 Australian. Can you believe Griffin said Metroid Prime 4 is better than Metroid Prime? There's no fucking way he said that. Why? Listen, you guys gotta start a list of all his bad opinions when we bring him on Chudcast. It's like, there's no fucking way he actually thinks that. There's no way. Has he actually played Metroid Prime? There's no fucking way. But how does he think that, though? Like, what literally, in what aspect? In what aspect is Prime 4 better than Prime 1? There's not a single thing. Not one thing. Because it's an easier game. Who fucking... They're both fucking easy. I mean, the only times I died in Prime 4 was against the dragon boss and the beetle thing that you had to freeze. Oh, yeah, I guess I lost when my partners died a few times, but I'm not going to count those. The only times I actually died was the dragon boss and that weird lava beetle in Prime 4. That's it. How the fuck is that? Like... if it's harder, it's like 1% harder. You drop Prime 1 because you got sick of the backtracking, so 4 being linear is better than... Oh my god. But 4 makes you backtrack across a giant empty desert 100 times. How is that better? That's worse! That is objectively worse than backtracking through handcrafted linear zones. Like the actual hallways, the fucking hallways that make up the map of Prime 1... takes less time, takes literally less time than driving across the giant empty desert. It is less time to walk across Prime 1's map than it is to drive across Prime 4's. This is the same guy who DSP'd with RE4 on stream and called it bad for that. Oh my god. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. I want him on Chudcast, but you guys are like making me not want him on Chudcast. Why do you care, bro? I don't care. You know what? I care too much about everything. That's my real problem. People say I don't care, when the reality is I care too much. I truly do. I need to retard max. The Fed was right.
The 1%, the retard maxer, does what he wants. Just does what he wants. If he does.
Okay, you know what? I know we've all been calling this guy a Fed, but I'm slowly learning I've been retard maxing for years, as it turns out. I think I've been retard maxing for quite a while now. I need to up my retard maxing. Why am I caring? Anyway, no, I have to care for my job. It's kind of the whole point, right? How do I make YouTube videos if I don't care about how bad video games are? Ricardo Comstock thanks $5. Your job is a joke. No, my job is based. Your job is cringe. Your bridges are shit.